Hi, everyone. I'm Diane Brady. I am here with David Deans, who is a senior writer on the tech team doing investigations. Just did a terrific piece, of course, on Sam Bankman-Fried. David, welcome.
Hi, Diane. Thanks for having
And
me.
tell us a bit more about what you found.
So, just like the rest of the world, especially the crypto and tech ecosystems, with my colleagues Sarah, Emerson, and other members of the tech team, we were able to take a look at what has happened in the past week, and it's been chaos, to put it bluntly. Trying to understand exactly how a company, the second largest crypto exchange in the world, has become insolvent and filed for bankruptcy in the space of a week, has been a great challenge. But we've been making efforts to speak to as many sources as possible, and that resulted in our story that we published on Saturday.
What was it that set off alarm bells for you to get involved?
Well, Diane, last week was rather startling for anyone in the crypto world and the tech sector more broadly. Like many others, myself and my colleagues were looking at what was happening with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried last week, and it just felt like one headline after another that was coming out to show that this company was effectively imploding. And we started to make a lot of calls to people who were at Alameda Research, which was the hedge fund trading arm of FTX.
Mm-hmm.
And we first focused there to see what we could find out about what may have triggered the events that occurred last week. As a result of all the work we were doing last week, we started speaking to a number of folks who worked shoulder to shoulder with Sam Bankman-Fried over the years, and also his other executives. And what emerged was that there was a number of red flags actually that many people, including the people who often we look up to as including investors, were all rather duped by some of the things that Sam had done over the years.
Well, when you think about the investors, their names like Sequoia, SoftBank, Ontario Teacher Pension Plan. I mean, these are not companies that tend to just throw money around lightly. Was there a particular reason? Did they ignore the red flags, or were they not evident until after they were involved?
I think this is a really clear case of investors being terrified of FOMO, fear of missing out. And we've seen that happen before with other, tech implosions. We could start talking about Theranos, for example. A lot of people threw a lot of money at that company without doing the due diligence that was necessary to find out, whether it was a legitimate firm. And it appears that the same thing has happened here with FTX, where today there was a former SoftBank executive was talking about the fact that he was reflecting on the fact that yes, he was among many that were caught up in FOMO, and that was because there was an idea about FTX that it was the next big thing, and that it was successfully raising billions of dollars from all of these rather, smart, intelligent, qualified investors. And so once you start seeing big name brands like Sequoia, SoftBank, and Temasek and Tiger jumping into these rounds, it's like, well, we've all got to get in. But what happened that Sam Bankman-Fried did successfully was he created a fear among investors that if they questioned him too much, then he would ice them out of further and future funding rounds. And that's what a lot of reporting has focused on this week and last week. And we saw that's actually something that happened in the sorry, let me start again.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we saw was that actually, as a result of this environment that Sam Bankman-Fried was able to cultivate, he was able to build a company worth $32 billion without ever having a board that had any investors on it. And there was an advisory board, which some investors pointed to that they were involved in, but it had no, clear oversight of the company. And this is kind of unheard of, really, among a lot of companies that try and raise money. They have to have boards. Investors have to see into the company and they have to know what's going on. And that just was not the case here. And there was one investor who told us, in our story that we reported on Saturday, was that they looked at the financial sheets, they looked at the balance sheet, they looked at the financials, and they all appeared to be great. I mean, the company was generating revenue, so like, why would you ask more questions? And
As did Bernie Madoff's company, not to make false, accusations here. But, one